that's been there too.
Has it?
Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Angela O'Hare, your favorite Las Vegas realtor.
And hey, I'm Rob Howe, Rockstar Realtor.
We're not even.
And,
Scoot over closer to me.
Sorry. Okay, here we go.
Let us know in the comments if you hear us, because one time before, remember, we had that issue. Sorry, we're a little late. It's always, whose fault. Your hair's growing.
Yeah, I'm in between haircuts here.
Yeah, I like it. I like it when you grow it a little more.
Thanks.
What you been up to?
It's daring for me to get it longer.
Well, you had it, remember, for a long time.
Oh yeah. Did have it long when I met you, basically, right?
You were growing it out.
Yeah.
When we met 4 years ago.
So what have I been up to? I've been busy. Last night I played some tennis districts.
It's hot out there.
Yeah, well, luckily it was at 7:30.
Oh,
It is night and day
still
difference.
At 7:30 is still pretty hot.
Yeah, but it's night and day difference. I mean, literally night and day difference to be able to. But I can't play it. You can't even play at 3 o'clock in the afternoon out here.
No, not at all.
So yeah, I've been that and some other things. I have a lot going on actually, but I don't want to bore you with too much of it.
Yes, I have a lot going on myself.
Yeah, I walked up to what seems like a whole new house out there.
Yes, I had all new paint, new garage doors, new front doors, new side gates, and next month is a pool project.
Awesome.
But yeah, my daughter graduated college last month from UNLV. She moved to Portland.
What? She moved to Portland?
Yeah, she moved to Portland.
That was fast.
Yeah.
This was in the plans?
Yeah, I was always in the plans with her boyfriend.
Okay.
And then, as everyone knows, or next week, Damien and I are getting married.
Big day, yeah.
Yep. And we ran around today getting our marriage certificate, getting photos done, all that good stuff. And then I'm taking 2 weeks off for the first time ever in my life.
And where are you?
We're going to Sedona.
Yeah. Okay.
For almost a week, staying at a super bougie hotel.
Yeah.
In Sedona.
Well, you deserve it big time.
And then
I'm not sure you'll know how to deal with it, but I hope you find a way to deal with it.
And then the following week, first week of July, my 50th birthday.
Oh yeah.
4th of July weekend. So it's just going to be one party.
Well, you're looking great.
Thanks.
I think like we said last time, not to pat ourselves on the back, but I think we look better than we did when we started.
Yeah. Mental health does a lot of
no work. Kidding, huh?
Yeah. So I'm sure you guys don't want to hear the boring stuff, and you want to know what is actually going on with the market numbers.
Yeah, do they?
And
of course you do. That's what you're here for.
As my title kind of states, as the Las Vegas Valley heatwave continues in Vegas, so does the Las Vegas housing market heatwave. We're going through a heatwave in the housing market, in my opinion.
Well, we have been through one.
Yes.
I think I'm seeing some changes, so we'll see where we differ here.
Yeah. I think I kind of saw a brief headline of one of your YouTube things, and I think we're going to be opposite opinions.
Okay.
I didn't watch what you produced because I don't like to know what you say. You know what I mean? So then we can have actual.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I have deceiving headlines too. It's
true.
It hasn't helped that video necessarily, but it's my video is titled something about that I think there's going to be the numbers like basically that are going to be really down for overall sales.
For what? For May or
for
June?
Vegas overall?
Oh, okay.
For in the 2024 basically.
Oh, okay.
This year.
Okay, cool.
Which isn't saying something all that crazy, and that's why it sounds crazy, but it's not.
Right.
We did that last year. I think it's going to be a little lower this year, ultimately.
Okay.
Which, when we look at the numbers, I think we're already seeing that. So.
I don't know. I think I see something differently, but we'll go over the numbers and we'll discuss.
All right.
So, most importantly, we had 2401 single family homes. This is single family homes that sold for the month of May, which is up 2.7% from the month of April and up 3.7% from the prior year.
Yeah.
So, drum roll, we also had another median price increase. We went from 469,000 to 473,000 in median price, which is a 0.9% increase or $4,000 and up 7% from the prior year.
Yep. I was going out on a limb in my prognostication to say, I was saying it. I was like, I think I'm crazy because I probably am wrong, but I just want to, I said, I think we would stay flat. It went up a little bit.
It went up.
It's not really a surprise to me. I was, even when we were here, we thought last time, we thought it is going to go up at least one more time this year.
I have a further prediction that I think it's going to go up one more time for June's numbers.
Yeah, maybe. Yep.
And the only reason I think that is because of how slammed I've been and how many closings I have for the month of June.
Okay.
So, but you know, that's just, I can't base it off of my business, right? But that's just my predictability. And just because when I look on the MLS for listings for clients, there's just not a lot out there.
Yeah, but there is more.
Yes.
So we can talk about that.
Yeah. So with that said, that from May 2023 to May 2024, we had a 30,880 median price increase in single family homes. So May of 2023, the median price was at 442,120. In May of 2022, it was 482, which was the peak of the market.
The highest ever. Mm-hmm.
And then May of 2021, the median price was at 385. I don't even want to know what 2020 was. It was probably in the two somethings.
I think it was low. I think 325 maybe.
Yeah, probably right.
It was, yeah.
Right.
It was significantly low.
Yeah. So as you can see, 30,000, almost 31,000 over year numbers and median price is pretty significant.
Yeah.
But as Rob has kind of alluded, things may be changing. And the only reason I feel that things may be changing is because a policy changes that will take into effect in August.
Yeah. I'm keying in on a lot of that too.
So when these policy changes take into effect, which will go into detail towards the end of this market update, then I have a feeling the market will shift and we will definitely see some changes with the market.
Yeah. Without interest rate changes, which would probably allow people to plow through what you're alluding to.
Right.
And maybe we'd see a stronger, have some stronger numbers that we'd be looking at. I think that it's putting further pressure on our already pressured market.
Right. And I think why we are going to be strong maybe for the next month or two is because buyers who have heard of the NAR lawsuit or NAR lawsuit want to take advantage of this where they may not have to pay the buyer's agent's commission. So they're trying to get the sales in now before this whole policy changes take into effect.
Yeah. Which I think is, again, it's a lot of this is there's a whole lot of fear-based, especially in that category. Because my thinking is that we aren't going to have to, buyers aren't going to have to pay that too often. They're going to have to agree to pay it, which is scary.
Right.
But I don't believe that they'll have to pay much too often.
Yeah, and if you have a good real estate agent that knows how to negotiate that, then you're going to be fine.
There's going to be a number of things. It's an unknown, and anytime you add more unknowns into what are already knowns, which some of those are known pressures that people are dealing with when it comes to the interest rate and not getting so much relief. The bond market's helping right now a little bit,
right?
But it's minor. We're still seeing 7s out there rates.
Well, I mean, my thought is, for the last 2 years, we've seen interest rate hikes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they still haven't yet quelled the, what do they call it? Inflation.
Yeah.
Right? The inflation rate really hasn't gone down. So in my opinion, what they're doing by increasing interest rates, there's no effect to it.
There's been effect. The effect is that you're not seeing further inflation, like higher and higher. So that's really it. And I say this probably multiple times that I've been on here, and I say it on my channel, if it were just looking at Vegas and the way that Vegas economy is, there would be more interest rate hikes. But when we look across the country, you know that there's different markets.
Right.
There's markets that are hurt more by these rates than, say, Las Vegas. So that's what the Fed is looking at as a whole.
But they haven't quelched it in 2 years, so I think they
Yeah.
just need to say, forget it, and let's go back to normal.
Well, then you would let the the
I
bat
know.
out of the cage.
I know.
But yeah, I just think they're not going to do anything for a
Yeah,
while.
I mean, obviously, I think they kind of said at the end of last year that we may have 3 decreases, and of course, because nothing has been changed with the inflation.
Yeah.
Now, who knows when we have a new president? If we have a new
Yeah.
president, what will happen there?
Another factor that I think is another key point that I'm throwing into the mix of what the unknowns and what that means to people. Like, it might mean something to me different than it would to you or to others.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of
goes into play.
Yeah, comes into play with the other things we just talked about.
Right. All right, let's talk about the median price for single family, for townhomes and condos. It went from 290 last month, 290,000 in the month of April to 295,000 for the month of May, a $5,000 median price increase, which is 1.7% above the month before and 7.3% from year over year. And as we mentioned last month, the peak of the median price for townhomes and condos was 287,000, which hit August of 2022. So now we've surpassed that
twice.
Peak twice.
Yeah, we could have guessed that probably.
Right. It's just amazing how expensive townhomes have become.
I mean, I've had a couple of in Summerlin, and of course those are going to be really pricey.
Well, yeah, 500 for starting
depending,
base price.
If you want like an nice, Summerlin. I just sold one that was listed at 316, and we got nearly that.
Oh, it wasn't a new one though.
No, not a brand new one. Of course, if you're talking about a brand new one, that's
in the 500 plus
range. It could be, very well,
Yeah, and I think we will see over 300,000 in median price in the townhome condo thing, because
that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah,
because you can really see where these are different. There's different things happening when we look at the condo. That's why we mention this, by the way, of course, is because the condo market does a little different thing than sometimes the single family market does. And we have seen it where the condo market keeps going, where the median or the single family is staying flat or even dropping sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. So my analysis was from May 2023 to May 2024, we had a 20,000 median price increase in condos and townhomes. So May 2023, the median price was 275. May of 2022, it was 285. And May of 2021, it was 205. Wow.
Yeah. You know what it is? People want to live in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And as another thing we probably said for 4 years now is like, people get squeezed down into the lower price ranges sometimes. You could buy easily a few years ago. We just talked about what the median price was, a few years ago.
That's what the median price for single family homes was.
You could buy a single family home. So people got squeezed down into condos. And some people enjoy them. They would rather be in a condo. There's just less maintenance. They have the pools. They have the amenities.
But just higher HOA fees.
Yep, they'll pay for the HOA fees, but then they feel like they don't have to pay for or deal with other things.
Right. Right. And I said this. I've been saying this for a long time, is that our prices are starting to look like California prices now. And I have a lot of clients that were potentially interested in moving here from California, but some of our, like Summerlin, forget about it. It's like way over some of the places in California.
Yeah. I've seen that too. And, their people are a little bit stuck, rocking a hard place.
Yep.
But then there are those who are clearly in areas of California that's much higher than us, and that's why we're considered a suburb of California at this point, or whatever.
Hollywood 2.0.
Yeah, because those people are still coming over, and there's not really a shortage of the California buyer.
Right.
There might be fewer, and that's the pressures that I'm talking about.
I think there was an article that I posted on Facebook from the RJ that 43% of the buyers from 2020 to 2024 came from California.
Yeah. I remember when it was much less than that. I mean, I remember talking about, and this would have been years ago, maybe we'd see 25-30% of the buyers
Right.
were from California, 40 nearly. I mean, that's getting near half.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah. So now we're going to talk about the luxury market. So last month for May, there was 160 homes that sold over $1 million, which April's number was 173. So we had a 13 home decrease. However, we did have an increase in the median price. It went from 1.395 million to 1.405 million, which was only a $10,000 increase. And the luxury market's always up and down, right?
It can fluctuate.
It fluctuates.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with the luxury market, there is not a lot of homes listed, especially if you're a specific single story, blah, 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 in a certain area. The Ridges is very light. And if you want anything in the Ridges, they're over 2 million plus. And if you find anything in that 1.5 range, it's going to be the Fairway Hills by Toll Brothers townhomes, condos. So yeah.
So yeah, a townhome.
A townhome.
Yeah.
Everything else in the Ridges. I have I went under contract with something in the Ridges.
Yeah, nice.
So I'm super excited.
Awesome.
But that's how I know about what's going on, right?
Yeah.
But
so the townhome, just out of curiosity, it wasn't a townhome they bought. No. What are the HOA fees on the townhome? Do you recall?
It's at least 600.
Yeah. So that's another factor.
Well, probably more, because the HOA fee for the Ridges, because if you don't know anything about the Ridges, you're in a guard gated community plus another gated community. And then you have, you have like three HOAs pretty much. You have Summerlin South HOA, you have the Ridges HOA, and then your gated community HOA.
Yeah.
So theirs is like 600 and something just for
a
single
home.
family home.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you have a townhome, which is
it's probably going to be
generally
more.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't know what it is.
I was just curious. I couldn't remember.
I mean, we can look right now, but we don't want to bore people.
Well, yeah, if you're interested in
interested and want to know what the HOAs for the townhomes and the Ridges, comment down below. Speaking of luxury, Rob educated me, I think it was last month, about brand new custom home community village called Amaya, and I did a video last week about it. It's going to be located on right above Kestrel, a little in the corner by the La Madre Peak.
West,
Peak Mountains. And so that's kind of exciting to have another new custom home community.
Yeah. It's needed, and that area will only benefit from having larger, really expensive homes, especially if they're talking about virtually, competing with Summit, which is, as we know, now the highest income area in all of Las Vegas is Summerlin South, like basically that area. And that Summit brought that over the top.
Well, I had a client that called me and purchased a lot. It's a great lot, super duper great lot. They bought it back in 2016 in the Summit for like $5 million. And today, if he were to sell that lot, do you know how much he could sell it for?
I would at least say it tripled.
$25 to $30 million.
Wow.
Because of where that lot's located.
In a good Summit lot, huh?
Well, and this Amayo can't compete with the Summit because it's not a golf course community.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's always going to be a little but some people don't want to be in the golf course, don't care about.
Yeah, but you got the beautiful views.
Yes, the views are big. I mean, the person who called you has a lot there. That's the only way you're buying a lot in Summit.
Yes,
Summit. Yeah. So this being opened up to not golf course community, but a super high end community.
Right. And I heard the lots are starting around 2-3 million, just the lot premiums in this community.
Yeah.
For right now, we'll see.
Well, in the long run, just like this guy buying a lot for $5 million and now can sell it, you could be looking at, and that's exactly what my client said to me is, should I buy one of these lots? And I said, well, for $100,000 holding fee, you might want to consider it. Yeah.
Yeah. He's going to make bank because he paid cash at $5 million. And then if he sells it for 25-30 million, he's going to make a lot of that's the best investment anyone could have done.
And it's, here's the thing. You looking back, and when he bought that, it's impossible to have known he could.
Right.
Now he knew he was going to make something.
Yes.
He was putting his money somewhere. The guy had money.
Right.
I'm going to put it somewhere where I know it's going to make some money. But that much money, that's hitting the,
that's like a 20 million profit.
That's Jed Clampett money right there, folks. Here's a little story about
Let's see if we have any comments. All right. Love your videos showing all the 55 plus communities. Congratulations on your wedding bells. Sorry, but prices are outrageous. Vegas is catering to Californians because it looks cheap to them. True.
Yeah.
It's very true. And I thank you for watching my 55 plus videos. I love doing them.
One thing I want to make a point about people that might be looking at equal prices, like similar prices to here that are in California. They're in areas that are not these top areas.
True.
They're in, they're in a nice California area maybe, but they're not in the top spot. So they're still dealing with all the California madness and it's costing them a lot of money to live there in so many ways. So that is a motivating factor. So they're almost like, yeah, all right, equal, but I'm out of this mess.
Right. Yeah, it's mainly politics is what's driving people out of California.
Well,
and the high cost of living, property taxes,
the leadership. Let's just say leadership, because politics is such a it kind of makes people feel
true.
But the leadership has decided to do a lot of things that are going to have cost a lot.
Yes,
to live in that state.
Yep. All right, let's get back to the numbers. So we had 3,123 new single-family listings for the month of May, which is up 8.7% from April. So we had a lot of listings and up 19.9% from the prior year. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And then the homes on the market. So there was 3,869 single-family homes that didn't have any offers for the month of May, which is up 11.3% from May and up 6.1% from the year before. So this is where we got more listings, but they didn't sell as much as the listings came on. So that's why our inventory is going up.
Yeah. And that's what I'm seeing. That's what I think is going to continue. This is not a landslide of listings coming on, but it's significant to note because this time of year, we usually see that we're not really that way.
Well, no, I was actually thinking, if you think of past numbers of listings, right? So if we can, where would July be? Usually, see right there once we hit July on, that's when we start getting more listings and then they go back down. So it's like a roller coaster ride, right? Mm-hmm. So I think we will, like we did last year, you always want to look at the trends. I think we'll start seeing it popping back up because people miss the mark, right? They thought that this is the best time to sell when typically the spring in Vegas is the best time to sell, in my opinion.
Oh, it's not even an opinion. It's a fact at this point, right? I mean, especially this year. There's no doubt. And that's really what my, warning or whatever you would say is that, hey, if you're looking to sell, you don't want to wait. I don't think you want to wait till unless you're going to wait till this next spring. And then now we're dealing with a number of factors that we don't really know for sure. Maybe it looks great.
Yeah, but by then all the kinks will probably be worked out.
I would hope so. And I'm not saying, that's why I'm not saying, hey, the sky is falling here.
Right.
But my thing is to say, here's your urgency. If you're a seller that needs to sell, then you need to do that as soon as possible. That's really the way I feel about it.
True.
Because I don't think that it gets better as the year goes on for you.
Right. Yeah. There's so many factors in play that I can't predict what's going to happen.
Yeah. And I don't, like I said, I don't think the sky is falling, but I just think that if I'm a seller, I'm like, let's get this going because I don't want to wait.
Someone, just while I have this in my head, this whole NAR lawsuit, where buyers are saying sellers always pay the commission. But in reality, if you think about it, someone made a comment on my video and I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Buyers are technically paying our commissions because they're paying for the overprice of the home.
Well, that's what the lawsuit was about,
right?
That it's somewhat about that. There was an argument there that it's making real estate more expensive because well,
the prices are going up not because to pay our commissions.
Yeah, no.
the prices are going up due to simple supply and demand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. But
built within that
increase. So a buyer or seller bought their house for 300,000. They're selling it for 600,000, and the buyer buys it for 600,000, but the seller's paying the commission. But technically, the buyer's kind of paying our commission too, because they're paying above what the seller originally bought it for.
Yeah, it's part of the system that's been there. It's also what actually does help drive prices up for sellers. So that's why sellers have been willing to do this, because if you start, it's harder for buyers to come in and lump down sums of money,
right,
than it is for a seller to pay out of money that's stored basically in equity.
Right.
So this has been a friendly situation to both sides, in my opinion. And I think that's why it's going to continue, by the way. That's why I think that most sellers, if not all, because they're going to start realizing, well, hey, if I'm not paying commissions, I'm not getting my house sold for the
top dollar.
The top dollar. There's a number of things. I don't want to get too deep into it. But,
I mean, go for it,
But yeah, well,
I mean, it's on everyone's mind, right?
Right. You want, first of all, you want experienced professionals no matter what you think about realtors. I hope you hope you like us. I hope you think that we're professional and we're good at what we do, but you want the top person dealing with you on that. Now, if you're talking about not paying them less, I believe that you're going to start getting people that are not going to be the top people involved. And so now, you got that problem. That will now compound on top of okay, if you're not going to pay at all, now who is doing the transaction? Is the seller agent now dealing with both sides? Well, now you got compromises that you're making, and compromises to the point where you're talking about trying to work for both sides. I mean,
well, too, is that the listing agent, just because a lot of buyers that I've been reading in a lot of Facebook groups will sideswipe the buyer's agent and go to the listing agent and try to have the listing agent represent them, thinking they can get a better deal. But in reality, that listing agent may still charge you a buyer fee if they're going to represent you too.
Absolutely, they should. If they're worth their salt, and they're, if they're not just so starving that they have to make the sale to get at least one side of the commission, that would be another red flag that you've got a problem with, on your hands.
Well, the point of the lawsuit was because it was steering, right? They said that when the commission was disclosed on the MLS, real estate agents, if they only saw they were getting 2% or 1.5%, they would steer the buyers and not show them the houses. Well, if you're not going to have full transparency and disclose what the commission percentage is, don't you think steering is going to happen even worse?
I 100% agree. I think that this is it's just hiding things, and all. Well, here's where it's not going to do that in this way, because they're making you sign this buyer's agent agreement, right? So you're disclosing exactly what you're going to pay, but I think that's actually going to make agents go ahead and make a higher number, hey, we're going to talk about a higher number here than what you actually might be dealing with regularly.
Right. I do that on my buyer brokerage agreement. I say put 5%, but then I also put in the additional terms that if the selling agent only offers 2% commission and we agreed to this, then you have to pay the difference, right? And if it goes over the amount, and say like a builder always offers higher commission, then you don't have to pay that difference. That overage.
Yeah. But you are, and so that does bring me back to what you're saying, which is ultimately now that but you're just getting told whatever the commission is, that you have an agreement that the buyer's, in on, and there is a possibility that you could be dealing with saying, I want you to buy this house because it gives me a higher commission. You're still dealing with that.
Right. And also, before we show listings, right, we're going to be calling the listing agent saying what concessions are being offered. And if I'm not getting zero, anything, then
we're not home.
Exactly. So this is far worse than being fully transparent about the commission.
I 100% agree. I don't know where it makes sense. It only sort of makes sense in the builder situation, where a builder has agents at least involved that are used to working with both sides. We still don't like that. Of course, we think that's a bad way to go to buy a house. But the only way that it works, because some builders have done this, where they won't pay a buyer's agent, and then they're just dealing with the public that's coming directly to them to sell those homes. But it doesn't work in another. And then even just, sorry, I just have to say this, because I think the real plan here, if you will, has to do with real estate tech companies.
DOJ.
Well, the DOJ is involved, but it's a real estate tech company control movement eventually here. I really believe that companies that want to get involved in these commissions, there's billions of dollars commissions, and they feel like, why are we relying on the MLS to get our listings secondarily,
right?
And when we could just be the show, and now you would just be going to a website and dealing with whatever paid by hourly employee that would now be your representative. Well, folks, if that's an experiment you want to get involved with, when you're buying, or even selling your most, your
biggest
highest
purchase in the world,
highest asset that you're ever going to do. Okay.
Right.
That sounds crazy to me. That sounds like, or really, it's just moving things. Now, what I'm talking about is what I've told you, maybe more in private than I have talked about it openly, but is the eventual, this is a thing that they're working towards. This isn't tomorrow. This is 10-year plan.
Well, they're trying to eliminate the buyer's agent, thinking that the buyers can do all this stuff on their own as well, which, I work with, I would say 90% of my clients are from out of state. And let me tell you, you read my Google reviews, my Zillow reviews, they needed me 100%, because it's not just about the paperwork. Yeah. It's about the whole gamut.
There's so much to understand.
And especially with new construction, I have a lot of buyers buying new construction. Who does the frame walkthrough when they can't fly down here? I do.
Yeah.
Who does the walkthrough? I do. I am there every step of the way.
Yeah. And even myself, if I was going to another state to move, I'd be looking for agents like us. I'd be looking for somebody that knows the town, and that the neighborhood agent, that person who really knows the area, that's what's going to beat all of this out.
Right.
Guaranteed. That just means that you and I, and we have always been willing to step up the game. We just have to keep being better.
Yeah. Matt brought up a good point that they'll, you want to read the first one?
Yeah. Matt says, I could see things moving into more of a website where homes are sold. This, I 100%.
Well, some builders do that already now on some of their move-in ready, like Century Community. If you want to buy a home from Century Community, you just click on the thing and purchase, and it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, but I don't know how people do that with, you got to have some thick skin right there.
I mean, even a walkthrough video, if they're not honest, if it's just, because when I do walkthrough videos for my clients, I'll tell it like it is, and I'm not going to pussyfoot. I'm just going to tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, because you know what's coming back on you.
You're right.
Like,
I'm going to be as blunt if
you didn't
there's
tell us
something wrong, and I'm going to point out every little issue if there's whatever, and then they can make that executive decision. Because I have had clients that bought sight unseen, but they trusted me to be their eyes and ears and report accurate information.
It's been since we've been doing this in the last 4 years, it's been more and more and more and more of that.
Right. Exactly.
And so,
to agree, is better to have an agent similar to a travel agent. Yeah. They took that away too.
Well, the travel agent part of things, you could see like why that kind of exited the door. You have somebody that you're going to go to in an office and sit down with the travel agent here, and no, it doesn't make sense because they're not really boots on the ground.
Right.
This is way more making sense.
Right.
We're the agent that's on the ground. So yeah, you need that.
Experience.
I need that. I'm just going to say, folks, forget about what you need. I need that. If I ever move, whether it's out of the state, let alone out of this country, which has been a part of something that I've thought about in the last several years, I am going to need people that are on the ground there. I'm not going to be able to trust a website. There's no way. Right. There's just no way.
Especially with all the fraud and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who knows if it's a real house for sale?
I mean,
You've had fraud with your rent, with some of your listings that people wanted to make it into a rental.
yes, I was on Fox 5 a couple of times for that kind of stuff.
Yeah. All right, that's enough about our rant. Let's get it back into
Yeah.
the numbers. We're actually almost done with the numbers, but there's a few things that I want to talk about after this. We're not going to be going over the builder incentives because I'm just getting tired of it.
Are we seeing a lot of
the same thing?
Yeah,
same thing.
Okay, folks, these are still posted. If you want to go to the end of one of these from last month, you could always do
exactly. It's pretty much the same incentives. So I'm tired of repeating myself.
Yeah. I mean, they're just not willing to do a lot, different. And when they are, you can sure as bet we'll be telling you.
So the months of inventory, we went from 1.5 months to 1.6, which is no sneeze. And it's kind of interesting though, 8.4% increase over April and a 2.4% over year. But this is interesting that almost 71% of the closings was on the market 30 days or less, which we haven't seen that type of number in a very long time. Last month, it was 68.5%. And last year, this time was 60.6.
Yeah, that is surprising. So, but what that tells us, what does it tell you? Yeah.
The homes are going faster.
The ones that are hot, priced right, they're moving. If you are not priced right, you're hanging around. If your properties needs work, all the things that we say are a problem.
Right. So that's it for the market update. But
that might be the quickest we've ever gone through that.
But I wanted to go over an article that was in the RJ.
I love it.
Actually, I'm gonna see if I can pull it up on the computer and show you guys.
This is good, folks. You're gonna want to have some. We'll have some fun with this.
Yeah, because we've been talking about this for how long, right?
Yeah,
My
mother's been whispering in my ear for decades.
Share screen. Share screen works best for computer screen. Easiest with 2 monitors.
Is it present? Is it
share screen? Oh, here we go.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
There you go. Share. All right. So it says, how soon could Las Vegas Valley run out of land for new homes? And Rob and I have been saying that eventually we will run out of land. And the Las Vegas Valley could run out of land to build homes in as little as 8 years. And this is definitely a cause of concern, the leader of the region's Home Builders Association said. Let's see if can you see us? Okay, good. Just making sure they can see it.
Yeah.
So basically, Trump was here this weekend, right? And Governor Lombardo is trying to get Trump, when he becomes president, he needs to release
when he becomes president,
right? To release more, or stand behind this to release more BLM land, because there's not enough land right now.
I was going to touch on that, absolutely.
Right? You want to touch up on that?
Well, I was just going to say that that's part of the reason why they can say that this time frame, because of it's kind of a misleading thing, because there's land, it's just BLM owned.
Right.
Yeah.
So this was an interesting part. Okay.
Bureau of Land Management.
Yes.
By the way,
so the Clark County confirmed that to the Las Vegas Review-Journal that the federal government owns 88% of the land in the county, and the Bureau of Land Management manages more than half of that.
Yep.
The BLM Southern Nevada District confirmed that it manages 2.6 million acres alone in Clark County.
Okay. Yep.
So then another interesting thing was that this Public Land Management Act was originally passed in 1998 and directed the BLM to sell public lands within specifically designated boundaries in the Las Vegas Valley. To date, almost 44,000 acres have been disposed within the boundary through sales, leases, patents. The spokesperson and another 27,000 acres of land is still available for disposal.
Okay. So yeah, the Bureau of Land Management controls land that the government owns, and they dole it out.
Right.
They dole it out. There was a bit of a moratorium from what I remember. This goes back to like the crash that during, after 2008, and we had all those problems. The last thing they wanted to do was release more land that would cause builders to build more properties.
When they should sit there.
Yeah. Right. When we had a problem already. So they did a little moratorium on that. And as usual with government, it took them a little while to start releasing some of that again. And now here we are where we've exploded. And yeah, they need to do some work there.
Yeah, because what's going to happen when we do start running out of land is that our prices are going to, you think they're crazy now? They're going to be crazy then, because we're going to be landlocked, right? I mean, obviously you can go more north and more
just
south,
further out. Yep.
But you can't really. Summerlin's near completion, and the east has been completed many years ago. So you're just going to be further away from the city.
Yeah.
But you know,
well, this has been something that has gone on since the very existence of Las Vegas. We expand. That's far until it's not far anymore, because then we build. I mean,
Jones in the 95 was like the furthest for the long time.
Yeah. You know, I mean, like you go off at 215 out north, you know, and they didn't have anything being built on the left side or on the further north side. Now that's all getting built a little bit more. But yeah, they're gonna slowly be moving to open up more of that. It's a fact, though, that we are a valley, and there's only so much room in the valley. My mother, you know, she's been spot on to point this out. She saw what happened in areas. Now, we're not San Francisco, so we won't see San Francisco numbers.
Right.
But those areas like that, they built out. They had nowhere else. To this day, they have nowhere else to build but up.
Well, and think about it, Summerlin, the Kestrel Commons and the Kestrel Village.
That's sort of forward-looking, isn't it? Right.
Yeah.
So they're building a product that is not just for today, but for tomorrow. Because I think that, you know, the more that.
Well, they only have about 15, 20 years left, and they've been going for 33 years already.
Yeah. And people will be more used to buying those properties in the future if there is not enough land.
But let me tell you what, Summerlin, or the Howard Hughes Corporation was super, super friggin' smart. When they bought all that land, I mean, oh my God. I mean, this is, I think, one of the smartest master plan communities out there.
It is. It truly is. I would almost say that unequivocally, but I haven't been everywhere, so I just read what I read
the
about
sheer size of it, all the parks, amenities, and everything about it.
And yeah, the diversity of property that you can and what they built within it, the enjoyment that you can find just living around in and around the area. Yeah. Top dog. They should make Summerlin a city in Nevada. And, you know, because they might, but here's a little dirty. Here's my little conspiratorial mind, if you will, but is that they would only do that if it means money. Oh, of course. Of course. Let's see what the comments. Yeah. Brandon Ross will be moving to Vegas in December. Brandon, if you do and you're looking to buy, you know who to call, one of us, right? And that is going to be, in my opinion, a fantastic time to buy. Especially new construction. November actually is the best time to buy a new construction home. You know, and also if you're moving here, you want to get your wheels turning well ahead in advance. So it's a good thing you're watching this. That's why you're watching this, I'm sure. But yeah, like what she's saying, especially on a new home or something, you could get involved in November, and then by the time you land here, boom, you're ready to rock. Yep. Because you know, once these interest rates start going down, builders aren't going to be offering as many incentives as they were in the past, right? Now, over the Memorial Day weekend, I sold a Lennar home, and they had this phenomenal incentive at 2.25% the first year, 3.25% the second year, 4.25 the third, and 5.25 from years 4 through 30. Wow. And $10,000 in closing costs. So it ends at 5.25. Wow. And 30 and after where fourth is this year. At? Well, this was during the Memorial Day weekend. I sold in Avery Point, one of the RV garages. Yes, that's what I was going to say. That is one of the communities where they are doing some decent deals. I sold an RV garage, and they actually kind of gave me some money. I'm not going to tell you what, but nice, because Lennar is only offering 5,000 co-op to agents. Oh, flat fee even there? Flat fee everywhere. They weren't, but they had a special, so I got an additional monies. Good. They weren't doing a flat fee when I did my videos there. They must have just transitioned to it. Yeah, shortly after. Yeah, it's just recent. It's probably once the NAR lawsuit was announced. Yeah, they were using that as an excuse before it was announced. So yeah, you want to.
Read Matt's.
Matt, you just got an email from the county manager about the land and gypsum resources. I'd love to read about that. I know that we've had gypsum mines in Las Vegas. Not on the outside of Las Vegas now, but that used to be like you can see on the hillsides or on the ridges over south, not the ridges of Summerlin South, but further. That there used to be these mines that were there. They had to go.
Don't we see them like when you're going down from Red Rock down to Blue Diamond Way?
That's where they're at, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, Matt, if you can email it to us, it's on the description below. Both of our email addresses are there. Yeah,
I'd love to read more about that and what they're thinking of doing with that. Because gypsum mines. Gypsum is used for I think it's a number of products, but I know it's used for drywall.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's definitely used for drywall, but it's funny because there was a thing. This is going back a little way. I don't know if anybody cares about the Chinese drywall, but there was a problem with this stuff called Chinese drywall. It was drywall that was imported from China, and it had a mold in it.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, they were building it around the country, but here in Las Vegas, because we have gypsum mines,
it was like on a 2020 thing or something.
It goes way back. Yeah, it goes further back, but we did not have the problem with that here because we have our own
thoughts on Inspirata.
Thoughts on Inspirata. Great community. I mean, it's this is what I'll say about Inspirata. It's funny that Inspirata was not a thing even sooner than it was because it's such a good location, especially for people coming right in from California. It is a little anemic on some of the commercial, but that's all getting built up.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of nice things. I mean, Inspirata is great, family friendly. My only qualm is the only real builder there is KB Homes.
They have KB and Tri-Point's still there.
Yeah, but those are townhomes.
They're building a single family. Are they sold out of those?
Does Arden and stuff?
I know Toll Brothers was there. I mean,
they were.
I don't know who's there anymore.
But the most of the lots is bought by KB Homes.
Yeah, it may just be. I know KB had a lion's share by a lot, and they may be the last ones selling brand new homes there.
Right, just like in Sky Canyon, the bulk of the builders is Century Communities. But it's a great community right off of the freeway. As you go in, they have these like nice shops, so it's a little more built out now. Recently.
Yeah, and they're gonna have more. You got the Raiders practice facility there, and they're gonna have that city center thing that they're building.
It's right off of Star is the Raiders practice facility.
Yeah, which is right outside
of Inspirata. So yeah, good questions, folks. If you have any more, go for it. And we are going to. So that's it about the land. I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think I'm just going to say this last thing about the article. I think it's an article to cause interest.
Yes.
Because again, we know when we really go through, and the article does indicate it, to be fair to it, but the headline is like, we're running out of land, Not exactly.
But we will eventually.
Oh, yes, we will.
We will, because I don't know how much further we're going to go for it to still be the Las Vegas.
Yeah, and truly the prime land is where, there's very little of that.
Right. And that's why the prime areas are going to continue to go up.
Yep, for sure.
All right, so we're going to go over who won last month's bets. So for median price, Rob said that a $3,500 increase. And I said a 4,000 increase, and it was right on the money at 4,000. I think you went first that time.
Yeah,
trying
to just stick it in there.
Yeah. No, you went first, and then I said 4,000.
That sounds right.
Then without offers, Rob said 3,600. I said 3,400, and it did go up to 3,869. So you won that one. And then for months of supply, Rob said 1.7. I said 1.5, and it was 1.6. So it was a tie.
Did we have a tie?
We tied.
If we were really doing the prices right, you nailed it without going over. So technically, you could win that.
Yeah, I don't care. It's a tie.
A tie. All right.
In all fairness, it's a tie. So with that said, I'm going to go first for median price increase. And I think we're going to continue the trajectory of increases. So for the last 2 months in a row, we've had a $4,000 median price increase. I'm just going to stake my bets and say stay on the four course and say $4,000.
Yeah, this is a tough one because I see some leftover inertia, which was, from the spring, that's continued. And that's what we're really looking at is closings that happened, that they're happening now or, even a few days prior to this. So I'm just going to go under you. I'll just say 3,500 again.
Okay. So we'll keep the same.
Yeah. Even though I think I'm going to have we'll see what I do on my prognostication.
All right. Then what do you say for without offers?
Without offers, I just think we're going to go up. So,
yeah.
Oh, that's a tough one. Now this is just single family, right?
Yes. Single family.
Okay. Cause I know we're going to go over 6. Okay. So, 4,200.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to, 4,200. I'm going to say 4,000. I don't think it's even going to go that high, but I think it's going to be under 4,000. All right. So months of supply, we're at 1.6. And if we see a tick in houses going up, I think we'll be at 1.7 and just tick up fraction over whatever. So I'm going to say 1.7.
Yeah. I'll just go 1.8.
Okay.
This could be another tie, folks.
Yep.
Because I think things could land right in the middle of this one, and they could land right in the middle of that one technically. But
right. So if we go 4,000, we're at what are we at? 473.
Mm-hmm.
That would put us at 477. We're still. I had predicted that by June we would probably hit the peak of 2022 May, but I don't think that's going to happen now.
It's going to get closer than I would have thought. It already is.
All right. So we're just going to summarize the whole, because we didn't really further go into about the NAR lawsuit and predictions for the future of real estate in the next 6 months in Las Vegas.
Yeah. Sounds like my ball of wax for sure right now. Right. That's what I'm digging into. And I'm mostly, when I think about this, is because when I'm dealing with sellers, I want to let them know when the best time is to get their home sold. And so the best time is as soon as possible. But
do you think with this new policy changes in August, will it affect the Las Vegas real estate market?
Very likely to have at least a temporary effect. Just kind of it could be a bit of a shock to the system. It's new information. It's an unknown.
And it also all depends on the listing agent and how well they can really try and sell it and say, hey, the benefits of paying both agents, right? To the
very
seller.
much so. But this is why I think most sellers are going to be like, I hear you. I want to get this done. Let's go ahead and do that. Now, where I think you start to have a problem and where you immediately, it's not going to be necessarily the listing agents making their case. It's going to be the buyer's agents making their case.
Right.
How do we get through these buyers brokerage agreements with buyers being comfortable knowing signing on the dotted line?
Yeah. And, because people freak out. The buyers are freaking out. My brokerage is requiring us to start signing them now. And it's just very hard to get them to commit because I don't blame them. I mean, they have to come up with the down payment. They have to come up with the closing costs. They have to come up with this, the home inspection, the appraisal, a lot of out-of-pocket money. I don't blame them for, paying my commission.
The way that works, in my opinion, is that properties are much less expensive for them.
Right. So that's where I see that we may finally, where these doomers were predicting, not a crash, but a correction where we will see the prices probably start going down because sellers, if you're not going to be giving any co-op, don't expect to be selling in the prime like we've been selling.
And just speak again, going back to my whole message to sellers, you sell your property now so you don't have to even worry about whatever that's going to mean to you.
Right.
It may be temporary but if you're looking at, I could sell now or maybe I'll wait a little bit later in the year. No, Sell now.
Yeah.
No waiting till later in the year. That's not a wise idea right now.
Exactly.
And
if you do wait till spring.
Yeah. I would say that's survey and then wait till what is traditionally a great time, and a time that people sort of get forced to buy anyway. Like that's when they're going to be doing stuff, and whether they have to sign something or whatever. And again, a few months of this where we see what this means to people and people start digesting it, that should help a lot. But I do have what I think is a fairly easy prediction to say that's going to have an effect.
Well, I thought just came to my head that even though we've had these high interest rates for the last 2 years, it still hasn't tamed our increase in median price.
That's just Las Vegas, though.
Well, we're talking about Las Vegas, right? Yeah. Yes. So, I mean, that's why I'm saying it's just, there's no effect to it, right? And the reason why our prices continue to go up is because sellers that have bought back then when the interest rates are at 2.5%, 3%, why would they sell? Where are they going to go, right? Unless they move out of state or they want to really upsize and they're willing to pay, or if they make super good money and then they can buy something without having to finance. So that's why we are continuing to rise in prices, because even though we say 3,800 homes, that's single family homes with over 2 million people.
Yeah. And I mean, not to mention that the teasing of, hey, it's going to be better later. It just keeps getting teased that, it'll be a better market later. So, so people keep pushing their plans out. Oh, the rates will get better later.
But people were saying that 4 years ago.
Yeah.
When they said, I'm going to wait till the Vegas market's crazy. Well, you waited, and guess what? It tripled in price.
But people found, yes, it did. But along the way, that what I've noticed is that people have found even more reason to keep saying, I'll delay.
Right.
I won't do this. I mean, I would say that a huge majority of people who made the effort to buy when they did are very happy they did.
Yeah.
So,
sorry.
Yes.
So I did have one of my buyers, but backed out, was buying a home in Mesa Ridge. It was part of the View collection. It was the 2-story bigger homes
in the front there,
4,000 in the front. Yep. And they bought it for 1.5, 1.6, and they were selling it for 2.7, $1 million over what they bought it for.
And when did they buy it?
2021. Yeah.
And what happened with the fallout?
I can't disclose that.
Okay.
I mean,
I thought that's where we were going.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to tell you how much it increased, $1 million in 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody's upset about buying.
And that's why buying an Ascension is so important. If you're going to buy, you need to buy now in the beginning. And we always say this, the best time to buy in a new construction community is when it just opens, because every time they release the lots, they always increase the prices.
They already have.
And they already have. They've increased it by 200,000 by Toll Brothers. They originally started their high rock collection at 1.5, and I think they're at 1.7, 1.8 million. So,
and they haven't even opened the models yet.
They haven't opened the models for Toll Brothers. They did open Incline at Ascension, and they're opening Caprock this weekend as well.
Pulte,
Pulte, and then the Point by Pulte won't open till July or August timeframe. So anyway, folks, see how much money these people have made in the 3-4 years?
Yeah, the rich keep getting richer.
Anyway, if you guys don't have anything else to say, we're going to wrap it up under an hour.
Yeah, that's a first for a long time.
59 minutes. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching.
Rock on.
And do it peacefully. And we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for watching, everybody. I think she already said that.
Yep.